All right, so this is a pattern that's been really effective for me lately on rivers, even on still water. It's not a unique pattern. Basically, it's a soft hackle bead head caddis, but we're going to use a couple materials that make it stand out a little bit. Starting off with a size 16 heavy wire scud hook and the vise with a 2.7 millimeter copper bead. For our thread, we'll be using fluorescent fire orange UTC 70. And this might be one of the reasons why this fly is really effective. Creates a little bit of a hot spot just behind the bead that might attract the fish a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. Start with our thread behind the bead. Give it a couple of wraps. Grab our scissors and cut off the tack end. And we'll just wind that back towards the bend of the hook. And we'll come up a little bit and we'll grab our ribbing material. So for our ribbing, we're using some Mirage tinsel, opal color, and a size small. And this will add a little bit of a flash to the fly. So I'll grab that tinsel, tie that in, and then bring that back to where we left off with the thread. Come back up a little bit, give us some room to tie in our dubbing. So for this one, I'm just using some hare's ear, and this is what's been most effective for me, but I've also tied this in an olive dyed hare's ear. So you can use natural, you can olive, any color you want. I've caught fish on the natural and on the olive colored. So we're going to dub our thread, and then we'll start winding this back to where we left off with the tinsel. And then we'll start making our way up. I'm just going to grab a little bit more. Leave a little bit of space behind the beads to bring in our peacock curl. Once we got that dubbing in, and then we can grab our tinsel and then start winding that up to create a nice rib. 4 or 5 turns usually does the trick. I'm going to get that up there and then go ahead and capture that. Grab our scissors, cut that off. If you see any fibers that sticking out a little bit, go ahead and trim them off at this point. Of course, I think a buggy fly is pretty productive. We're going to grab our peacock curl. I got 2 strands of peacock curl, so I'm going to go ahead and just snip off the tips of those. We're going to tie these in behind the bead, and then wind back down a little ways over our body. And then we can wind these guys up towards the bead. Secure these with a couple of turns of thread. Couple in front, couple in back, and then we can snip those off. And we're going to put a collar on this. So for our soft hackle collar, it's going to be using some partridge. It's a great material for collars. I'm going to grab my hackle pliers and just grab the very tip of this feather. Make sure that you got the stem, and then we're just going to stroke some of the fibers back to expose the stem right there. And then we're going to take off our hackle pliers, and we're just going to cut off a little bit of that tip to create a triangle. That triangle creates a good tie-in point, so we'll lay that down behind the bead, grab our thread, and secure the partridge with a couple of turns. And then we're set. Grab our hackle pliers again. We're going to grab that stem. We're going to hold it up, and we're just going to wet our fingers, stroke those fibers back where they're angled back towards the back of the fly. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap. As you wrap, you can kind of stroke those fibers back. We'll probably just do just a couple of turns here with that partridge. Looks good. We'll grab our thread, secure that stem. Couple turns back, a couple turns in front. Pull down tight. We'll take our scissors and go ahead and cut out that stem. Now, just take our thread and we'll do a few wraps. You can see that orange hot spot appearing behind that bead. I just think that's really effective as an attractor for the fish. Grab our whip finish tool, 3 or 4 turn whip finish. And we'll do one more. Kind of fill in that area a little bit behind the bead on this one. And then we'll grab our scissors, cut that out. We'll take a look. Soft hackle's looking good. I like to do sometimes just grab a brush, an old toothbrush, and then just kind of tease out some of those, or tease out some of that hare's ear fiber as well, make it a little buggy. And there you have it. Very effective pattern. You need this in your box. It's going to work for you. All right, till next time.